Thank you so much for joining us for our WIFR Fastcast. I'm Daniel Burbank from the WIFR News Now desk. Well, wind chills made it feel close to 15 degrees below zero Wednesday morning, and well, we're going to be stuck in this bitter cold for a few more days. So let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Kira Miner, who is in the studio. Kira, I hope at some point we'll be able to get a little bit of a warm up.
Yeah, that's right, Daniel. We've been stuck in this frigid pattern, which seems like for the last couple of weeks, right, with unseasonably cold weather still building in here across northern Illinois, but also across southern Wisconsin as well. And it looks like we're going to stick with those frigid temperatures at least for a few more days. However, we do see some signs of a little bit of a warming trend as we go into the upcoming weekend. However, that is going to come with a chance for some snow beginning late Sunday night and into early Monday morning. But yes, we do have another first alert action day in place for Thursday morning because we will see overnight lows below zero. In fact, I'm forecasting a low here in Rockford of 3 degrees below zero. But when you couple that with that northwesterly wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour, we're looking at wind chill values anywhere between 10 to even 15 degrees below zero. So yes, it's another morning that you're going to have to bundle up once again in all the layers. Make sure that your hands are covered, your nose is covered. And also as we take a look at the next 5 days, you can see our daytime highs between 13 and 16 degrees on Friday. And then by Saturday, we work our way back into those lower 20s. And by Monday, early next week, we're actually cruising our way into the upper 20s. In fact, closer to 30 degrees, which is really our seasonable norm for this time of year. But it's really the overnight lows that we need to be concerned about. So by Thursday and Friday morning, we're looking at sub-zero thermometer readings. And then again, when you factor in those winds, we're still talking about wind chill values ranging anywhere between 10 and even 15 degrees below zero. So here's a quick check of those forecast wind chills. Thursday at 8 a.m., Rockford at about 10 below. Janesville, you're at 14 below zero, with Monroe at 15 below zero. And as far south as Sterling and also into the Mount Morris area, we're looking at wind chill values anywhere between 8 and 11 degrees below zero. And again, still very dangerous out there by Friday morning, with many of these wind chill values ranging anywhere between 5 and even 15 degrees below zero. And so again, when you have wind chills down that low, around 15 degrees below zero, frostbite does become a pretty big concern. Yeah, it could happen within less than 30 minutes. Also, I do want to mention that you do want to take care of your pets. If you're cold, then they're obviously cold. Make sure that you bring them inside, or they do have plenty of shelter outside to keep warm. Make sure that they do have plenty of water, plenty of food, and just take care of yourself and also your pets. And don't forget to check on the elderly as well. Daniel, back to you.
Kira, thank you. Very good advice, especially with the pets. And I mean, we see on the graphic behind you, it says frostbite can set in 30 minutes, even in 15-degree wind chills. And we had a lot colder earlier last week, too. Kira.
Yeah, we did. So it's not quite as bad as what we saw last Friday morning, where we did see some of those wind chill values approaching 30 degrees below zero. So I do think the next couple of mornings, you know, we're going to be teetering anywhere between 10 to 15 degrees below zero. But it's nice to see a little bit of that warming trend, if you want to call it a warming trend. But hey, at least we'll be back in those middle to upper 20s, which will feel like a heat wave for some of us after seeing some of these, daytime highs in the single digits.
Absolutely. Kira, thank you so much. We are going to transition gears now over to this next story, which I will get ready here. Give me just a moment. Oh no, what is happening? Seem to be having some technical difficulties, but that is our WIFR website. Trying to get us over to Cam 2 here. Doesn't seem to be happening, but let me tell you, with the frigid temperatures, there's some extra challenges when it comes to taking care of our four-legged friends. Can't get it to work. But hey, let's go over to Shelby Hill at the Perks Family Equine Center, where we're looking at how the organization adapts to extreme wind chills, even with a heated arena. Shelby, thank you so much for doing this interview with us. Just kind of walk me through, from your perspective, some of the safety things that you all go through and train.
Sure. So we have animal care and maintenance staff on the property every single day. and to just make sure that our animals are safe and healthy during this cold weather. We, with the horses, will blanket them if they need it. Not all horses need it. We have a good amount of horses that develop really thick coats, and so they don't need to be blanketed. We make sure they have really good access to water and salt. So extra salt helps them want more water. And dehydration is a really big risk when it's really cold out. And with horses specifically, they can get something called impaction colic when they're not drinking enough water, and that can lead to death. So we make sure that they have lots of warm, not frozen water, access to salt, lots of extra access to hay, because the hay keeps them warm too.
And that's why, just like with cattle, I mean, they're eating a lot of hay in order to create energy, burn energy, right?
Mm-hmm. So they'll ferment it in their hindgut, which actually keeps them warm from internally, rather than just relying on those external things.
How long have you worked at the center here?
I've been here for 6 years.
So you've really seen the weather patterns kind of ebb and flow, and so minus 40, wind chills, I mean, how does that stack up against, I guess, your workload? Is that the worst you've seen, is what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, it was pretty bad this year. Last year we had a very mild winter, but we've had years in the past where we've gotten a negative 40. We're very lucky now. We have this heated building. We use gators to get all over the campus, and we used to just have open gators. Now we have enclosed heated gators that help keep us warm. Yeah, we've experienced this before, but this was a rough year, that's for sure.
And this was it the first time in this heated building?
Yes, yep.
Oh, that's awesome. So I'm a little new to the area, when was this built? Can you kind of tell me about the building itself?
Sure. I believe we finished construction about 2 years ago. So the building was mainly built from a very generous donation from the Perks family, which is why it's called the Perks Family Equine Center. We have a load of donors that helped us outside of that. If you want to see the donor wall right in there, we can look at that after. And it was built just as a place for kids in our community that need help mentally, physically, to go and be inside, out of the elements, and interact with our animals.
When you're interacting with the kids, the adults, the therapeutic, equine therapy,
Mm-hmm.
it's a legitimate form of therapy. What is that like for you to see personally, the change and the growth with people?
The things I've seen with equine therapy, it's amazing. It's people will come in and they'll be completely shut down, don't want to talk, but the horse brings out something in people where they feel so comfortable. They'll just tell all their problems to the horse. I've seen kids come in that are reluctant to go to school, reluctant to make friends, reluctant to talk in general, and then we get them with a horse that kind of matches their energy. By the end of our program, they're a completely different kid. We've seen attendance rates go up. We do surveys to see how their mental health is doing after a program, and our numbers are looking great, and it's incredible. It's hard to describe because it's so unique, but it's a beautiful process.
It's emotional.
Yes.
What do the kids tell you, when they do come out of their shells, thanks to not only you all and the center and the horses?
So some of the main things we hear from participants are they feel like the horse sees them for who they are. They feel like they can be themselves when they're here. They feel like they have good role models, and they understand the emotional regulation things that we're trying to teach them. They understand how to connect to other people through the horse. Yeah.
For you personally, you said you've worked here 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
What about this industry, what attracted you to this center?
When I was 8 years old, I did lessons in camps here. So I came back just as summer. I was in college, and it was just a summer job, and I fell in love with Lockwood, with the Park District, with horses in general. Kind of changed my major around a little bit. I got some new certifications, and then I never left. There's something so calming and rewarding about being out here. Not just our animals, but we have 15 miles of beautiful trails. It's super relaxing and rewarding to be out here.
Yes, there's some challenges with minus 40-degree wind chills, but would you say that's still rewarding and worth it?
Oh yeah, it's very rewarding to be out here in the negative 40 when everyone else is staying at home, not even going to school, and we still have to, suit up and get out here and take care of our 72 animals that we have on property. Plus, we take care of the swans that are normally at Nicholas Conservatory during the summer. They come here in the winter and they stay in our barn to stay nice and cozy. And just seeing all the animals happy and healthy and warm, that's a reward in itself. They can really sense your feelings. They can sense if you're nervous. They have a really big electromagnetic field. So they just, any kind of nerves, anxiety, depression, they feel it all. So just controlling your emotions around them is a really big thing. We don't like to run and scream around them or spook them, even though these are big animals that will ride into war. They can be terrified of a plastic bag. So we just want to make sure that we remain calm when we're around them and just always aware of what they're trying to tell us with their body. So they'll talk through their ears, through their nose, through their eyes, and as long as we're paying attention, we can tell what they're trying to tell us.
So what do we think Big Mac is thinking right now?
He's very relaxed right now. He's got a nice loose lip, he's got soft eyes, kind of droopy-ish ears. He's not super alert, he's very relaxed. He's very happy that you're just there petting him.
And that was at the Perks Family Equine Center. It is day 3 of jury deliberations in the trial of 43-year-old Dwayne Meyer. He's accused of killing his ex-wife, Margaret, and son. Meyer's trial reached its second week Tuesday in 2022. Prosecutors believe that evidence placed Meyer near the scene of the fire. The defense argues there was no witnesses and the evidence was circumstantial. Now, jurors asked the judge several questions, including about Meyer's interview with deputies and if it should count as witness testimony. Meyer faces murder, arson, and concealing a homicidal death charges. Investigators in Putnam County, which is about an hour and a half south, of Rockford, look into the death of a person trapped in a grain bin. First responders were called Monday afternoon to a farm where a man was found trapped with soybeans up to his chest. Authorities say that the man was saved using several tools, including a rescue tube, but 2 hours later, first responders would find a second person dead at the bottom of the grain bin. Amazon plans to lay off 16,000 employees. The company says this is due to increased decision-making speed around AI. The cuts follow 14,000 others in October. Amazon says it will adjust staffing as needed, which includes with the potential hiring in other strategic areas. UPS says it's cutting up to 30,000 jobs, according to the New York Times. The company expects to deliver fewer Amazon packages this year. UPS says it will reduce staff, including warehouse workers, and voluntary separation offers for full-time drivers. UPS says it wants to reduce its work with Amazon, saying the partnership is largely unprofitable. Despite pressures to the central bank from President Trump, the Federal Reserve holds interest rates steady. The Supreme Court also considers whether he can fire a Fed governor over unproven allegations. Fed Chair Jerome Powell says the Justice Department is investigating him. Economists widely support independence for the Federal Reserve so they can make decisions without political interference.
In support of our goals, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to leave our policy rate unchanged. Having lowered our policy rate by 75 basis points over the course of our previous 3 meetings, we see the current stance of monetary policy as appropriate to promote progress toward both our maximum employment and 2% inflation goals.
Starting February 1st, New York requirements for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, goes into effect. According to Capital News Illinois, adults between 18 and 64 without children under 14 must work, participate in certain programs, or volunteer at least 80 hours per month to get benefits. The work changes were part of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, which was signed into law last July. Adults who do not follow the guidelines can get SNAP benefits for up to 3 months in a 3-year span. Well, the Prairie State Access Fund connects donor support with organizations that protect and expand reproductive health access across Illinois. This comes after Governor J.B. Pritzker claims the Trump administration leads an all-out assault on abortion and gender-affirming care.
As one of the very few states in the middle of the country that's protecting the right to comprehensive reproductive care, Illinois is supporting care for people who often have nowhere else to turn. These are not just words. The data shows this. Illinois receives more people from other states seeking abortions than any other state in the nation. Think about that. We are the safe haven that people rely upon.
Winnebago County crews will start working on Prairie Hill Road Bridge Monday, February 2nd. Prairie Hill Road between Illinois Route 2 and South Bluff Road near Rockton.
As one of the very few states in the middle of the country.
Drivers will be able to travel either side of the bridge. Construction is expected to be finished by the end of November.
Country that's protecting the right.
As we move on, businesses and government agencies rely on more connected systems, while the risk of cyber attacks or data breaches remains high. Consumer investigator Carice Jackman talks with a cybersecurity CEO about steps that can help reduce your risk and what you can do if you're worried about your information that could end up for sale in criminal markets online.
For Danny Jenkins, educating workers and the public about cyber attacks is a key part of protecting personal data.
I've also seen IT people go into the breakdowns almost, because they walk into an office, every computer's got a red screen on it. Your files have been accessed. Please send us X Bitcoin to get your files back. And it's the worst feeling in the world.
Jenkins is the CEO and founder of Threat Locker, a cybersecurity company that sells tools designed to help businesses defend against attacks. He says some sectors can be attractive targets, including healthcare, because of how much sensitive information they store.
When you go to a hospital, obviously, you give a lot of personal information. You tell the doctor your biggest problems, they have records, they have scans, they have all your blood tests, they know everything about you. And if they get breached, then that means your data now gets put on the internet.
This is why he says strong security matters, especially with ransomware. And while you cannot always prevent a breach, he says consumers can take steps to limit the damage.
And you can do things like lock your credit reports when you're not applying for credit, so then nobody can apply for credit in your name. You can monitor your tax returns and monitor your credit for someone hitting it.
And for anyone managing accounts that hold sensitive information, he recommends turning on two-factor authentication when it is available.
It doesn't cost anything, it's normally free with every service. It annoys the user that they have to put a second code in, but they'll get over it.
So whether you run a small business, work in local government, or just want to better protect your personal information, basic security steps can help reduce risk. With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Carice Jackman.
Well, the Federal Trade Commission also recommends using strong passwords using at least 12 characters, and the agency says credit freezes are free to place or lift.